All right, hello everyone, and thank you for your patience as we work through today's events. My name is Kevin Best. I'm the Senior Director of Media Relations here at Chapel Hill. We have a number of folks here with us, and a few of them will take a few of your questions and discuss today's incident. We have University of North Carolina Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz, UNC Chief of Police Brian James, Chapel Hill Police Chief Salisa Leahy, Orange County Sheriff Charles Blackwood, Commander Freddie L. Johnson, Jr. of the North Carolina Highway Patrol, Secretary Eddie Buffalo, Jr. of the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Special Agent in Charge Bob DeWitt of the FBI, Orange County District Attorney Jeff Neiman, and UNC Board of Trustees Chair David Bolick, Jr. We know there'll be a lot of questions, and we'll take a few, but please understand this is an ongoing investigation and questions will be limited. We'll start with Chancellor Guskowitz.
Thank you all for being here today. This is truly a tragic day for our campus community. Chief James will give more details on the ongoing investigation, but this afternoon, shortly after 1 p.m., UNC police were notified of shots being fired in Cottle Laboratories on our campus. The suspect was eventually apprehended and is now in custody. I'm grieved to report that one of our faculty members was killed in this shooting. This loss is devastating, and the shooting damages the trust and safety that we so often take for granted in our campus community. We will work to rebuild that sense of trust and safety within our community, and our hearts are with the family of our fellow faculty member, those who are personally connected to the victim, and those traumatized by this senseless act of violence. In response, we have canceled classes for the rest of today and have canceled classes for tomorrow. We've sent an email with resources for our students, faculty, and staff. More information will be provided on additional services for our campus community. I'm grateful to our Emergency Operations Center, UNC Police, for managing this situation so effectively and keeping our community safe. I'm also grateful to our faculty, staff, and students for their effective cooperation during this event today. It's why we have an emergency action plan with an active shooter protocol that's practiced regularly, and because of that, this situation played out as best as we could have asked for today. I hope that you'll join me in praying for the victim's family, and every member of our Carolina community. And I encourage our community to come together during this difficult time. I'm now going to turn it over to Chief James to give you additional details on what happened today and his department's impressive response in keeping the rest of our campus safe. And I also want to thank the other law enforcement agencies, many of whom are here today, for the role that they played in keeping our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Brian James. I'm the Chief of Police for the UNC Police Department. I thank you for being here this evening. And thank you, Chancellor Guskowitz. I also want to offer my sympathy to the victim in this incident and express my empathy to the entire UNC and Chapel Hill community. I'm very sorry to be standing before you today in these circumstances. It's a day we trained for, but we hope it never comes. I know there will be a lot of questions as we try to answer as many as possible, but please understand this is an ongoing investigation, and there are many questions that we will not have the answers to at this time. I want to start by confirming, as the Chancellor did, we do have the suspect in custody from today's active assailant incident. At this time, we are not releasing the name of the suspect, as formal charges have not yet been filed. We are committed to conducting a thorough investigation, and we will provide as many updates throughout the process as we can. The FBI is providing assistance with multiple resources, including victim assistance and the evidence response team. The Cottle Lab, which is the location of the incident, will be closed until further notice as evidence is being processed. We want to ensure that we gather every piece of evidence to determine exactly what happened here today and why it happened. It is too early in this investigation to know a motive for the shooting. We will be working with all the law enforcement agencies you see represented here to uncover every fact available. That will take time, So we ask in the meantime that you continue to express your warm thoughts to the UNC-Chapel Hill community. This investigation will continue for several weeks, but here's what we know right now. UNC Police received a 911 call at 1:02 p.m. this afternoon reporting shots fired at Caudle Laboratory, located on South Road near the center of campus. An emergency alert Carolina was issued, and the emergency siren sounded at 1:04 p.m., notifying campus of the emergency and issuing a lockdown. Upon arrival at Caudle Labs, police discovered one individual, a faculty member, had been shot. Unfortunately, as we have reported, this person is deceased. We will not be releasing further details on that person at this time, as we are working to contact all of this person's family and will be providing them with support and resources. This is the only fatality and no other injuries were reported. Based on witness information at the scene, UNC police were able to identify a suspect, and after a search of the surrounding area, this suspect was taken into custody at 2:31 p.m. The lockdown of the campus remained while police verified the suspect's identity and conducted a comprehensive search for the weapon that was used in the shooting, which at this time has not been located. I want to thank all the law enforcement agencies who responded to assist today. Their assistance was invaluable, and we could not have responded so quickly or so thoroughly without their help. So at this time, I'll turn it back over to Kevin, and I guess we'll take any questions.
Yeah, at this time, like I said earlier, and like the chief said, we'll have a few questions that we can take. Obviously, ongoing investigation, only so many things that can be discussed, but if you have a question, please raise your hand. I'll point to you, identify yourself, and then ask your question. Here on the left, second row.
Stephen Schlick, UNC's Carolina Wheat. We know that there's a car in the new Venable parking lot. Police did confirm to us that that does have some sort of correlation to this event. Can you all speak to what kind of correlation that has to this?
Yes, a car was identified. We do think that it is related to the investigation. As we said, we are still in the process of collecting evidence and conducting interviews, so I'm really not prepared at this time to say exactly what the connection is, but we do have that car identified as a piece of possible evidence. Yes, sir.
Front row here.
Yeah, so we heard from talking to students that they had some confusion during the day because between the time that you said the suspect was apprehended and the time that the all clear went out, that was about 2 hours, and students were being evacuated from some buildings before then, and said that they weren't really sure what to do next. Can you speak to the communication during this process and why that all clear took so long?
Yes, so once the suspect was identified and apprehended, we still had to ensure that this was the correct person. So there was an identification process. We did not want to put that information out at that time because we weren't sure. Also, we were receiving a number of calls around campus about possibly having other victims. There were a couple of other calls about possible gunshots. So we had to ensure that the entire campus was safe. So we had a number of officers that were on the ground doing an entire sweep of that area, also searching all the adjacent buildings. So we wanted to be sure that that the campus was in fact all clear before we issued that. So that's why there was the lapse in time. We just wanted to be sure that we had that person in custody and it was the correct person.
Can you tell us the suspect and the faculty member was killed? Were they known to each other? Did they ever work together? Potential students?
We don't know that information at this time. That'll hopefully be uncovered through interviews of the suspect as well as any witnesses that may be available.
This is the second week of school. You've got new students on campus, returning students, and families all across the country are worried. What's your message to students and their families?
This is really a time for the community to come together, and these tragic events sadly are happening across our nation. And again, it's why we prepare talk about a sense of community. And so right now, that's my thoughts and prayers are with obviously the victim and the victim's family and friends and colleagues and students who are part of that department. And so we hope our students will access the resources that we're making available and come together in a really important way for the campus right now.
News and Observer, can you tell us about how the suspect was apprehended and where exactly he was apprehended? Were there any tips that came in? Were there any reports?
So we did a comprehensive search of campus as well as surrounding areas. So at this point, I am not prepared to say how he was apprehended, but we are sure that it's him, and we were able to verify that.
I spoke with several students, one of them, this is for Chancellor. She had said that the faculty had essentially told the students to make personal decisions on what to do next. She had said that she had hid in the closet. A lot of people were calling their parents, saying goodbyes. I know you had mentioned that there is an active shooter kind of protocol put in place, but it seems that some of that maybe got lost in confusion today. And I know this is a scary kind of incident, but what is that protocol? And again, they were told that they needed to make a personal decision.
I'm very pleased with how the protocol was carried out today. I had a chance to go over, along with the provost and others, to talk with the faculty who were there in the building at the time of the shooting and some of the students, and they're certainly traumatized, but I want to commend those who were in the building, ensuring that they were doing everything possible to ensure the safety of those students and faculty and staff that were in the building. And so, again, even the best laid plans, as you know, and protocols, sometimes they don't play out as you'd like to, but I'm very pleased with what we know at this point. We'll have an opportunity to review that, learn from the investigation and questions that are being asked, and certainly put improvements to that if need be. So.
Back left.
Yes, how helpful is it to have the suspect alive?
Well, we certainly want an opportunity to interview the suspect if that's possible. And to actually have the suspect in custody, it gives us an opportunity to figure out the why and even the how, and also helps us to uncover a motive and really just why this happened today. Why today? Why at all? And we want to learn from this incident, and we will certainly work to do our best to ensure that this never happens again on the UNC campus. And I think that that information that we could glean from the suspect is very important as we move forward.
Yes, you.
Okay, you said you're looking for a weapon. Is it a firearm? Do you know what type of firearm? Is it too early to tell that the suspect has legally obtained a firearm?
We are looking for a firearm. It is too early to determine if the firearm was legally obtained, and not prepared at this time to say exactly what kind of weapon it was.
There were reports earlier this afternoon about possibly some other suspect being taken into custody. Was that an error? Can you kind of talk about what happened there?
Yes, so there was another person that was detained, and we determined very quickly that that was not, in fact, the suspect.
Hi, can you tell me what criteria led to that arrest and then let go of that first initial suspect and why that mistake was made or how? Do you have any insight on that?
That was based on just the description that we were given of the suspect and that person being in close proximity of the incident.
I know you said you guys are looking to speak to the suspect to try to ascertain the motive, but is there anything that you can share at this time as to what might have led to this?
We really don't know until we speak with the suspect. That's my best answer I can give you now. We really do want to know the why in this case and what led to it.
All right, this certainly won't be the last update we have. We'll only take a few more questions over here on the left.
Folks, we have some students right here in the front row who lived through this. Thousands out there who want to hear from you today. What can you tell them directly? Tell the student body.
First of all, I'm sorry because I know so many of you are feeling uncertain about your safety right now. And again, we have very good protocols in place. There's nothing more important on our campus than the safety and well-being of our community members, and certainly our nearly 30,000 students are at the top of that list alongside our faculty and staff. So we're here for you. I'm pleading with you to use any of the resources that you may need, and we'll come together as a community to ensure your safety and the safety of anyone who visits our campus here in Chapel Hill.
Chancellor, can you specify what kind of training faculty and students get when it comes specifically to active shooter situations? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So we have an emergency action plan, and active shooter training is part of that. And so we, about a year ago, we rolled out a program by which, and I'm going to ask Chief James to say a little bit more about it, along with Daryl Jeter, who I know does an incredible job of running our emergency operations center. And there are specific guidelines provided to faculty for the specific classrooms and laboratories in terms of how to go about doing this. Now, it's every classroom, every laboratory, every auditorium is slightly different in terms of how you would lock down a facility, but we're doing the very best that we can. And again, I'm proud of the fact that our Emergency Operations Center took this very seriously, learning from some of the tragedies that have happened on other campuses, and we all have to learn from one another. But Chief may want to say a little bit more about the specifics.
So the primary purpose of the emergency action plan was to ensure that every faculty member as well as student or staff understood what to do in a case like this, such as an emergency lockdown or an active shooter. Another layer that we've done from the University Police Department, we've done a number of security surveys across campus to find out how to better secure various buildings on campus. As you know, the buildings range in age on this campus, and so each building can be very unique in how you actually lock it down. So it was important that every member of the organization of UNC assigned to those various buildings understands how to lock down a classroom or any type of structure that they're in, and know where the best places are to go in case of a lockdown. So we've worked very diligently to ensure that information is out there, and we'll continue to work on those efforts.
All right, thank you, everybody. Like I said, we'll have more information throughout the next few days, but thank you, everybody, for coming, and we'll have updates as we